And I think that was the clincher for me, because if I can't fundamentally disagree with it, then it must be the right religion. I've had a lot of, mashallah, you look beautiful in your hijab, thank you for doing this, this is exactly how we feel. I have had a few imbeciles sitting behind a keyboard saying, oh, you look ugly, oh, you look stupid, this is just, white guilt or hijab tourism. But they don't know me, and they don't know why I'm doing this. So, you get the odd idiot sitting behind a keyboard playing Mr. Invincible, but most of the support I've had has been really positive, and people have said, this is a great idea, how can I get involved, how can we help, and hopefully World Hijab Day will go global and we'll do it again next year. It's the responsibility of, first and foremost, being honest and admitting that, yes, it will be hard in the beginning, but if you stick with it, it gets easier. Allah does not want you to have a hard life. And I would say that for young girls who are getting bullied because of the hijab, remember that it is not your fault and it's not your problem. It is the person who is bullying you who has the problem. And all you can realistically do in those circumstances is smile, reply civilly, and then talk to somebody you trust about it, whether that's Allah or your parents or somebody in school that you can trust. But don't do what I did and bottle it up for years. Don't do that. Go and talk to somebody and say, this is how I feel, this is what's happening, and something needs to be done. Whether it's educating our young children more about different religions, whether it's having a zero tolerance approach to religious bullying. But above all, just be proud of who you are. Allah created you this way. And although you don't know why He created you just yet, at some point in your life you will know why. And you will know what you were created for. And it has taken me a long time to realize that I was created for a purpose. I don't know what that purpose is yet, but I know I will do at some stage. And the best thing you can do is just be honest about it. Admit if you're having problems. Admit that it is difficult at times. But above all, just trust that things will get better, because they will. It might seem really horrible now. If someone's watching this and they're afraid to go into school the next day because so-and-so is bullying them, it's hard now. But in 5 years' time, that person that's bullying you will not be important in your life. They won't even feature. Half the people who bullied me are not within 100 miles of my life. They don't know what I've gone on to do, and I don't know what they've gone on to do. So just trust that things will get better. Norwich has finally got its first new mosque, yay, which is actually 2 minutes from my house. You just go across the road into an alleyway, turn left. And it was really nice, actually. Not only was I going into a new building, but it was the first time I'd gone into a mosque in any capacity. And I think it can only be described as feeling like you're coming home after years and years of travelling. I just felt this is the right place. This is where I am supposed to be. And then when I met all the sisters upstairs with all the children who call me auntie, and, I just thought, this is what's supposed to be happening. I was supposed to come here. And I don't know, it just felt so peaceful and so calm. It was almost like the mosque was saying, you don't have to worry about this anymore. You know what you're supposed to be doing now, and right now this is what matters. Everything else can wait for a bit. But it was really, really nice to be there. I definitely think that this was supposed to happen in some way. I do think that I was supposed to do this, and, I firmly believe that if it wasn't meant to happen, I would have had some sort of sign, I would have been turned down for something. In terms of my relationship with my partner, if it was really not supposed to happen, we wouldn't be together now. And I do think that I was meant to do this. I was meant to be sitting here and telling people to listen to other people. As for what I'll be doing in the future, well, only God knows that, and I will probably know at some point in the future. I would like to be a practicing music therapist and use music to help people the way it helped me. And so I'd like to have that as my career. Obviously, I'd like a house and a couple of children. That would be nice. And just to continue, not really standing up for people, but drawing attention to people and saying, listen. I think I will go to my grave saying listen, and just listen to other people. Because one of the crying shames of the 21st century society is that we have forgotten how to listen. We judge people and that's it. We don't actually sit down and talk about things that we don't understand. We either try and get rid of them or we just ignore them. And you're not going to breed any tolerance by either ignoring it or removing it. I would say the first thing to do, if you want to know about Muslims, find a copy of the Quran and read it. Read if you haven't got a lot of time, read a few bits of it. Read about Islam, read about Muslims. And if you have any female Muslims in your area, or any Muslims for that matter, go and talk to them. Ask them why they are a Muslim. Were they born a Muslim? Did they convert? Did they revert? And for female Muslims, ask them why they wear the hijab. Because I can bet you 9 times out of 10 it's not because their husband told them to. I can bet you that. Won't be because their husband told them to. I mean, a lot of the time, one of the questions I get asked all the time is, did your partner force you to wear the hijab? No, he didn't. I would like to see him try. He did not force me to do anything. I chose to. And I think the best thing to do would be to ask why. Why this, why that? But don't go up to someone in the street and start interrogating them, Start a conversation and then maybe say, I've heard such and such. I don't know, I've heard that Ramadan is a period of fasting. Does that mean just food or does it mean drink as well? And then actually listen to the answer. Don't just ask it for the sake of asking, because you won't learn anything from that. Actually listen to the answer. Because you would be surprised how many female Muslims in the West would be absolutely offended if you considered them oppressed. Yes, there are some countries where women are forced, either culturally or for other reasons, to wear the hijab. But, the majority of Muslims nowadays are actually Western converts. And you've got to ask yourself, why? Don't just think, oh, she had to, or she was born like it, Actually, go and ask them. You might be surprised, because that woman that you think is oppressed, she might have chosen Islam. That woman you see with her husband, who's dressed in the full abaya, the full burqa, the full niqab, whatever it is, she might have chosen to do that. And unless you ask her, you're not going to know. So just go and find someone and ask. Ask as many questions as you like. Just don't ask the really stupid ones. I think it's partly upbringing. If you bring your children up to, say, I don't know, hate Jewish people, then that's how they will think for a period of time. I think the media is mostly to blame, because people have this mentality of, if it's in a newspaper, it must be true. But then you have to think, well, the newspaper has printed quite a lot of rubbish over the years and it's not all been true. But I would definitely love to see the media have a more honest portrayal of things. All this spin and bias on things really does my head in. I can't understand why people do it. And I think just teaching our children that, yes, for my children, I will teach them, yes, mummy wears a headscarf, and no, daddy is not a Muslim, but that doesn't mean that you can't do what you want to do. I won't raise my children in a set faith. I will raise them to be good people. And then when they're old enough, if they want to follow whatever religious path they want to, as long as they've researched it and it's right for them, then that's fine. If my child came to me and said, I want to be a Buddhist, I have researched it, I've looked into it, I've, been to a temple, I've spoken to some lay monks, and that's what I want to do, then I would say, you go ahead and do that, because that's what's right for you. But I think bringing our children up to have set views of the world and set ideas of what's right and what's not, whilst it's good for, basic things like killing is wrong, I don't think it's right to say to them, being a Muslim is wrong, being a Jew is wrong. I think the media needs to temper its view of people and be a lot more honest in its portrayal of people. And I think parents as a whole should raise their children to be more tolerant, because the children really are the future. And if our future generations are not tolerant of other religions, we are very fast going to become a very insular society.